I told you a 3D open world platformer had using a fishing rod as your main movement mechanic. Would you think it's good? Probably not, but like me, you'd be intrigued by it. The big catch, Tacklebox is just that game, and it pulls it off damn well, like come-worthy levels of good. And this video is basically just a yap sesh for the game, since this is just a public demo for the game on Steam, so let's get to it. First things first, let's get a look at our main guy, Tackle. Little man's got quite the fit on, bucket cap, yellowfish tank top, giant-ass red shorts, and some dapper-looking yellow sandals. He's also got his fishing rod, of course. Similar to a character like Sybil, I can't exactly say I'm sure what he is. He kind of looks like some sort of hybrid between a bunny and a crow. Like, you've got the face and beak of a crow, but it also looks like you've got these giant-ass bunny ears for hair. The only other character I've seen in this demo is Fiskery Bale. She's mostly all black like Tackle, but her build seems to be that more like a crane instead of a crow. I'd love to say that I'd smash, but I can't make anything out except for her giant legs. But that's it for the characters, so let's move on to the more important thing, and at least what I think the game is trying to sell, the movement and the rod. The game gives you tons of options for getting around places, so we're going to be here for a while because the amount of things you can do is pretty extensive, and I'm covering every single thing there is to offer. So I'm going to start off with a regular movement, and then I'll go into the more advanced moves and rod-based movement and actions. There's of course the standard jumping, crouching, and running around, but other basic moves such as swimming around also feel really nice to handle, unlike other games. The game even offers some move tech for exiting the water. Like, while swimming can confirm like a boost dash type of thing, which gives you a big burst of speed, and just like busting the fattest nuts, you can go flying. And with this, you can launch yourself up and out of the water, preserving a bit of momentum you kept, instead of forcing yourself to a halt and then jumping out of the water. Another seemingly core mechanic is rail grinding, which feels fan-fucking-tastic. Like, you can speed up and slow down as well as turn around, and like, not the most innovative in terms of controls, but doesn't matter because it just feels so clean to grind the rails, kind of like in some good Sonic games. There's also bars you can swing from that honestly give you pretty good control of where you go after jumping off them. There are also a couple points in the game where you're able to bounce on top of said bars, using them to traverse a bit further. Other things you can do include grabbing dangling hooks and ledges. Hooks are pretty simple, you know, basically just the same as you see in any other platforming game, though that doesn't make them any less fun to use. Ledge grabbing is actually a really important mechanic in the game, taught to you like right at the beginning, which allows for you to make certain jumps, but also grabbing indented walls to either climb vertically or cross gaps and such by moving horizontally. Another grabbable object is the vines you'll find around, which let you move freely on them in whatever direction they go, up, down, left, right, dangling, you name it. Another very important movement mechanic is like wall running and jumping. There's one thing that had me both absolutely despise this game, yet simultaneously like love it. If I kept messing up this one jump, I would have started taking action at the local elementary school. And the wall run though feels very finicky at times because it seems to be handled based on the momentum you had going into the wall horizontally, as well as the angle you approached it at, other than just jumping at it. This is one of the most common and important mechanics to really get hold of, as most platforming puzzles involve it at some point. Okay, now for the more involved bits of movement. While crouching, you can slide and then jump out of that for a kick jump, which gives you a short burst of speed as well as hitting the occasional enemy, like toddlers. I use this all the time just so I could traverse places a little bit faster, and you can also spin in place like a top to perform a spin jump, which honestly I couldn't seem to find much use for. Ground pounds, on the other hand, I used almost as much as kick jumps since they would give you a little extra height, as well as you giving more momentum when going down ramps. And thank God that's over with. Now we can move on to the more important matters. Fine, we'll talk about you now. The fishing rod is the main selling point in terms of unique movement, basically acting as a hook. The simplest thing you can do is hook on objects like food, fish, the occasional minority, and yank them towards you. You can hook onto and swing off of some hooks, preserving momentum, but also letting you change your trajectory at the same time. Another couple things you can grab onto are these blue flowers, I think, that pull you in a set path based on wherever you're grabbing them from, giving you a giant boost of speed. Similar to the floating grabbable hooks, there are also grounded ones that serve the same purpose pretty much, but also let you build up momentum by swinging back and forth if you lose all of your speed. The last rod thing is simply what I dub as fling hooks, creative name, I know. These launch you by pulling back and flinging you in whatever direction you're facing when you let go. And the last thing about the rod is that in the big open expanses of the map, you can call sand shredders, which you hook onto as they pull you like hell across the desert. Plus the little buggers are quite cute. Alright, now this is the part in the video where I ask you to subscribe, share the video, like, follow, do whatever, all that bullshit. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by like the end of the year, sooner the better, because I want to get YouTube partners so I can get any sort of compensation for doing this. I mean, I love doing this, but just getting money from it too would be fucking awesome. Well, back to the video. The last big part of the movement is, like I've mentioned above several times, momentum. This game lets you preserve a ton of momentum, mostly from the aforementioned fling hooks that already give you tons of speed. And similar to bee hopping, if you jump when you land, you retain momentum. The timing is pretty generous as you don't immediately stop when landing. You like slide, kind of skid, or continue running, depending on whatever input was last held or is being held. It's super fun launching off of fling hooks and just jumping so you keep moving super fast. It's one of my favorite things in games. I just like going fast. The next thing is a world map, like level design. The map is very, very open desert, letting you go wherever you want, whenever you want. This game right now seems to only really have the goal of collecting all the fish, so that's all you really do. There is a lack of story or sense of true progression, but I don't really fault the game for that since it's the beta. But the main places you'll be going to are the multitude of towers around the map, which serve as platform puzzles to get the fish scattered around. Most places seem to have 2 fish at them, but I don't really know how accurate that is since I've not collected everything as of writing this, though I might if more enough people yell at me in the comments. Since the towers can be quite hard to traverse and climb, there are fishing rods that can lower down to access points you've already gotten to instead of having to repeatedly do the same path over and over, which I would never use since I'm a god gamer. Now for the couple of gripes I have with this game, because sometimes the game is just torture without the cock and balls. The map, while easy to traverse, can be pretty confusing at times because there's no way to know where you've been without just remembering it, causing me to get lost and backtrack a bit. Another thing is the towers themselves. Some of them are incredibly difficult to get through, mostly just one, but it straight up sucks sometimes to do. That is probably more due to me, sucking at the game than the movement or the design. I know it's just glazing the shit out of the movement, but sometimes it just feels incredibly inconsistent, making climbing the tower suck so much ass that my face is brown with the amount of shit I dealt with. Overall though, like some of my other favorite games, the ceiling for movement expression seems pretty high, and the map design is just hard enough that even though I get mad, I can't help but continuously try again and again until I finally get through the part I was stuck on, which I think is one of the best ways to handle difficulty as it's the player's fault alone. And if the movement in the game sucked or just wasn't as good as it is, then I honestly would have just stopped playing out of pure anger. And I'm super excited for the full release of the game because it kicks just so much ass. Plus, just look at the description for the demo. Beatbanger is a mature furry-rhythm game. You are the lone protagonist in a rags to bitches story? Oh fuck, not that one. How did a picture of my wishlist get on here? There we go, that's the one. And I'm just gonna read this off real quick. So, this free title won't come close to reaching the depths of the upcoming full game, but we hope you find dipping your toes refreshing nonetheless. Like, that's just super cool. I assume it to be more in reference to the story and map and whatnot, but regardless, the demo alone got me pretty hyped, and I think you should pick up this demo so you can be ready for the full release like I am.